If you've ever had that, that wired but tired feeling where you're physically restless but your mind just will not settle down, then this deep dive is absolutely for you.
Hmm.
And we're not talking about just simple burnout here. We're talking about a concept that connects your physical pain, maybe your joint aches, and your racing, anxious mind, all under one single principle.
Right. A unifying idea.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at Vata, and our source is this fantastic, really comprehensive infographic that outlines its role in holistic health. It's almost like a cheat sheet for this really complex idea.
It really is clear.
Our mission today is to quickly pull out how this foundational life force dictates movement, health, your mental state, and I think this is the most important part, what concrete steps the sources offer you to get back to a state of equilibrium. We're giving you the shortcut.
And that idea of a master controller is so important. The source immediately identifies Vata as the, quote, controller of all movements. But when we say movement, we're not just talking about, walking across a room. We are talking about the deep systemic life functions that keep you alive.
So, okay, let's unpack that. Controller of all movements sounds incredibly broad. If Vata is like the wind in the system, what is it actually, doing? What does this all mean?
It governs the entire invisible architecture of the body. The source details 4 key functions that are just completely dependent on a balanced Vata.
Okay.
Think of it like a conductor of an orchestra. If the conductor is erratic, the whole performance just falls apart.
So what's the first instrument in that orchestra?
The first is respiration. Just the simple act of breathing in and out, that's Vata's work.
Okay.
Second is circulation, the movement of blood. Third, digestion, specifically moving food through you. And finally, and this is the big one, the entire function of the nervous system.
Wow. So we aren't just talking about a minor health tip.
Not at all.
We're talking about breathing, blood flow, digestion, and how your brain even talks to your body. Vata isn't a component, it's the operating system.
Sure. Precisely. If Vata is balanced, everything is rhythmic, stable. Respiration is calm, circulation is smooth. But if that conductor starts, flailing wildly,
You get chaos.
you get chaos in every single system.
And that leads perfectly to the next point, because the sources are so clear
Hmm.
that the causes of this chaos, this imbalance, they aren't some virus. They're rooted in how we live our lives.
They absolutely are. The source lists the main culprits that increase Vata, and they are all about instability.
Okay, so what are they?
The 3 big ones highlighted are, first, an irregular daily routine, a routine that's totally out of sync with natural cycles.
Right.
Second, not enough sleep. And third, excessive stress or strain.
And when you put those 3 together, the common thread is just unpredictability.
That's it. Chaos in your schedule translates directly into erratic motion in your body's fundamental life force.
So that's the link. Irregularity and stress are actively disrupting the master controller. So if that happens, if the wind becomes a storm, what symptoms should you be looking out for? What does that internal chaos feel like?
It feels like an acceleration combined with a drying out. The source lists 4 key symptoms. The first is instability or restlessness.
And not just fidgeting, right?
No, it's a mental thing, too. The inability to make a decision, the mind just won't settle.
That constant need to check your phone, that
Yeah.
little buzz.
Exactly. The mind is always moving. The second symptom is physical. Dryness, so dry skin, dry hair, stiff joints.
Okay.
The third is pain or ache, often a joint pain that kind of moves around. And the fourth is anxiety or worry.
Okay, wait, I have to pause on that.
Yeah.
Because I've always treated dry skin with lotion and anxiety with, meditation. The idea that my messy schedule is causing both of them at the same time, that's kind of blowing my mind.
Well, think about it.
Why are they connected?
Because Vata is movement.
Yeah.
And excessive movement creates friction, which creates heat, which then leads to drying. Think of wind blowing across a field. It dries everything out.
Oh, okay.
So when Vata is high, it dries up your internal fluids, leading to dry joints and skin, but it also accelerates your thought processes.
Which is anxiety.
Which is what we call anxiety and worry. They are symptoms of the exact same problem. Too much uncontrolled movement.
That reframes everything. And the source actually says this explicitly, right? This says in Yoga Shastra, the restlessness of the mind is directly linked to Vata imbalance.
It is. The jittery mind is the clearest sign that your controller is agitated. The beauty of this is that if you treat the underlying Vata, you treat the physical aches and the mental anxiety together.
Okay, so let's get to the fix. If the problem is movement that's cold, light, and dry, and it's causing all this instability, then the solution has to be the opposite qualities. How do we do that?
The solutions are all about introducing qualities that are warm, heavy, and oily. And the most critical ingredient of all is consistency. The goal is to calm, ground, and nourish.
Consistency, consistency, consistency. That sounds like the direct antidote to the modern life we just talked about.
It is the ultimate antidote. The practical steps for calming Vata, they center on three pillars. First, diet. The food should be warm, and I mean literally warm food, not cold sandwiches or ice drinks. Warmth slows down that agitated movement.
Simple enough. What about the quality of the food?
That's the second pillar. The food needs to have a natural oiliness or unctuousness.
Now hold on, you're not saying eat a bunch of fried junk food.
No, no, of course not. We're talking about healthy, natural fats that feel grounding. Think cooked veggies with some ghee or olive oil, avocados, nuts.
Right.
These healthy fats counteract that fundamental dryness of Vata. They lubricate the whole system.
That makes it so practical. So if you're having a cold, dry salad for lunch every day, you might actually be feeding that Vata imbalance.
Absolutely. Switching to a warm soup or a gently cooked meal with some healthy oil starts to introduce that stability you need.
Okay, and the third pillar, you said was the most important.
It is. It's routine. Maintaining a regular lifestyle, eating at the same time, sleeping at the same times. Predictability. That regularity prevents the chaotic wind from even building up.
You know, that's probably the hardest thing for our culture to accept. We're praised for being flexible, for working until 2 a.m.
But this philosophy suggests that very flexibility could be undermining your core health and literally inviting anxiety into your system. If stability comes from rhythm, then an environment that demands chronic irregularity is, well, fundamentally unhealthy.
And the sources also point to specific tools from the yogic tradition, right? Practices designed to manually apply the brakes.
That's right. The source names three: yoga postures, breathing exercises, and conscious deep relaxation, or yoga nidra. Slow, mindful yoga postures help ground the body. Breathing exercises, especially slow, even breathing, directly stabilize the breath, which is the most immediate expression of Vata.
Calm the breath, calm the nervous system.
Exactly. And yoga nidra, conscious deep relaxation, that seems like the ultimate counter program to stress.
It seems like it.
It is. It's not just a nap. It's a structured practice that actively calms the entire nervous system. You are intentionally introducing profound stillness to fight the instability.
So we've gone from chaos, irregular routine, cold food, stress, to order warm food, regularity, grounded practices. If we actually do this, what's the payoff? What's the final outcome?
The sources promise this beautiful triple return on your investment. When you balance Vata, three things happen. The body becomes stable and calm, the mind becomes peaceful, and the intellect becomes clear.
That clarity, I like that.
And if you connect it back to the beginning, it makes perfect sense. If Vata is managing your breathing, your circulation, your nervous system smoothly, the result has to be physical stability and mental peace. That clear intellect is the dividend you get when your internal engine isn't constantly fighting itself.
The conclusive statement in the source really drives this home, it says. Balancing Vata means stability and health.
And that phrase, stability and health, is everything. You're not just fighting anxiety or pain anymore. You've established a robust, fundamental rhythm in your life.
That's powerful. You know, to recap, the thing that's most surprising to me is that undeniable link between lifestyle choices, like bad sleep and a messy routine, and these huge systemic symptoms. The physical pain, the anxiety.
They're not separate issues.
They're just flags from the master controller saying, I need consistency, warmth, and grounding.
It just collapses that perceived gap between the mind and the body. It tells us your dry elbows and your mental worry come from the exact same root cause.
And that leaves us with a final thought for you. Given that Vata is the controller of all movement, and that its balance relies so heavily on a regular life aligned with nature, just consider our modern world. Late-night screens, irregular work hours, constant caffeine. These things are fundamentally disrupting Vata. So the question is, what's one small, specific shift you can make in your routine? Not a giant overhaul, just one consistent daily action that could introduce more rhythm and stability and bring that body calm and mind peace just a little bit closer.
What one consistent action can you take starting today to just apply the brakes?
We'll leave you with that thought. Thanks for diving deep with us.